What's going on, Soul Game family? Another day, another dollar in your pocket. In this review, we're doing this review for fair use and educational purposes. This is about Tone Talks, and then he just hitting on some the topic that how the heck can anybody be successful in America? I don't give a damn if you're a billionaire if you black. Because then black has got all these special regulations to where the government can snatch your money from you. They could just basically tell you either you shut your mouth and do what we say, or we're gonna steal your money. It's some kind of way, legally. You know how they is. They're gonna sham you. So that's why they shut down all of the sports. Celebrities from talking. Kwame is, he just. He retired, so he might be able to get away with it, but he's still a brave individual, so he's still, he's still taking on the system, so everybody ain't gonna do what Kwame do. So, now how is anybody successful? I don't give a damn talking about, go to the army and then go get married and have this family and the government gonna pay for you. They ain't gonna pay nothing. They ain't gonna pay for you to go over there and kill up a whole bunch of other people and then bring them to America and take your job in your house, nigga. So I don't know what the hell you talking about. The military is gonna help you. Yeah, they gonna give you a house. Yeah, but then they gonna turn around and invite them same people you was just fighting in that foreign country to your neighborhood, and then they gonna be your mayor and your police force and all that, and your ass is gonna be. You might as well go back to wherever they came from. You know what I mean? You gonna get deported to wherever they came from. That's what I see. I see that it ain't no jobs. I see it ain't no politicians on black people's side. I see that it ain't ain't no land for black people to develop their own food companies and all that. Ain't no affirmative action so that these black folks could form their own businesses separate from anybody else, whether it's the white man, the immigrants, or the politicians, or any other nation. You know what I'm saying? Black people do not have their own economic foundation in America. No, it's more like we convict leasing. We being leased as convicts. So, okay, yeah, they give you $1 million, but you got to do what they say, and you can't help your people. So what good is that? That's only good for you. So now you got everybody else in the country talking about, hey, this ain't fair, this ain't fair. Why? Because they can't give me no job, and then bringing in all these other people to take the job, and the only job I can get is as an inmate at your local penitentiary. So how the hell is that fair? Nuh-uh. That's what this is about. It ain't no such thing as no successful black person in America. And if it is, they using him as a pawn to sell everybody else down the drain, which is take your ass back to Africa or take your ass to the penitentiary, which is Africa. Economically.
I don't think they really
spiritually.
About to talk about it. Because, a lot of people, what they tend to do is they have a lot of beliefs and feelings and everything else about
delusion,
solutions, and how me and you need to solve things. We're gonna hammer that down today too. It's about 110 degrees here in LA. I had to go with no jacket. Come on. So let's go through these questions. Y'all gonna get some questions. So the title of the show is No CNN, Black Men Are Not Successful Economically in America. I want to make sure that everybody calls in today. Dash Radio, Dash Talk X, Tone Talks in the building. Got Yvette Carnell with me. I gotta have Yvette with me. Yeah. We going with 6 questions today. Why would CNN post an article saying black men are succeeding in America made by a conservative think tank? Ain't CNN supposed to be liberal? Is they angry?
Well, if black men is succeeding in America and they using the military to do it, you know what I mean? They ain't gonna give you no job on the street. The only job they gonna give you is to be their military, they watchdog, right? You gotta be their police force. Well, that's what the military is, the police force, right? So then, how is that successful?
Now that they see Trump might get that second term, 37% black male unemployment.
They using them people to hold their own self down and their own people down. Just like they using them to hold people down around the world who being exploited by America.
In Wisconsin, 1 in 5 black
All
men didn't
around
work
the
in
world.
2016. 1 in 3 black male babies will go to jail at one point in their life, but we succeed in a first world country that my family built, that Yvette's family built, that your family built.
This country looking more and more like communism, because communism was based on the government control everything, the land, the resources, the banks, the companies, the taxes. Even if you got your own company, they still control you through taxes, right? You making the money, but they still in it. Nigga, so what you talking about? They don't control. That ain't communism. Well, then what you call it? Don't tell me that you don't call that capitalism. Capitalism is when somebody making something and it's theirs. Not when somebody making something and half of it is theirs. That's communism.
Come on. We're going to talk about
That ain't no capitalism.
Number 2, do we understand timing? How could a study focusing on baby boomers, 60-year-olds, retirees that are living a plush life and retired, good salaries, tell us anything about the prospects of millennials? Number 3, what is the poverty line and why is it wrong to use it in an assessment of black progress? Come on. We're going to talk about that poverty line. Everybody it's funny because everybody say, Tone, you negative. Now, Tone just tell you the truth. How many of y'all was going to share that article? I love that positivity.
I love that
It's made by a
positivity.
think tank, a conservative think tank to steal your reparations. Y'all don't need nothing. Y'all fix.
Y'all fixed.
Take care of your cousin.
Take care of
Find
your
his ankle
cousin.
Fresh out of jail. Come on. Number 4. If you believe black men are successful, is it based on the man in the mirror when you wake up? Or for the couples, I'm asking the women, the actual guy that you're dating or his projection? Is we basing it on Clark Kent or the Superman that this man tell me he's gonna be? Come on. Are we basing it on Peter Parker or the Spider-Man that this black man tell me he gonna be and tell himself he gonna be? The problem is in the real world ain't no Spider-Mans. All we get is Peter Parker. They ain't never been to a laboratory and they ain't never gonna be bitten by no magical spider. Come on, we dancing with this one.
Come on, we dancing.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Number 5. What is the danger of pushing propaganda around marriage and the military? Everybody got to know this study that this CNN report is based on was done by AEI, American Enterprise Institute. They all about pushing military and conservatism and marriage. They don't want us to get no reparations. They don't want us to get fired up. They don't want me and the vet to get y'all agitated and ready to go demand from government with your vote, with your voice, what your family bled for. I don't care what they want. We coming. Number 6. Is LeBron James and his move to LA a measure of black males being successful if large patches of black males across the city are unemployed?
Hell no, that's why they brought all these drugs. That's why they flooded this place with immigrants. That's why they're going to be the new police force, and the drugs is going to be the new slave catcher, right? Because they need a reason to arrest you, right? So that's why they bringing all these drugs and then passing a law to make the penalties so stiff so that they could, they new convict Vic Leeson plot. The names have been changed, but the game is still the same. Back in the day, they used to just call it vagrancy. Now they calling it drugs. Okay, we're going to arrest you back in the day because you ain't got no money in your pocket and you a vagrant that's hanging around in front of stores or walking through our town. And we ain't going to give you no job. And so you starving to death, so only you got to steal an apple or something off a tree to eat. What else you going to eat that day? Ain't nobody going to give you no work unless you got hooked up with a sharecropper or something and go start sharecropping or something. So you limit it to where you can even get a job. back in the day, back in the 20s and the 30s and all that, and in the 1910s. So how the hell, so you already scared to even go to a town and ask for a job because you know they ain't going to give you one. And then once they find out you there, they're going to arrest your ass anyway for telling them that you broke. For saying, I need a job. That means you broke, man. Come on. But you know it's a crime against that? It's called convict leasing, son. Peonage. Peonage, nigga. It's called vagrancy. So, but we practice peonage. That means we just... That's convict leasing. You don't have to you don't have to do no crime. You just being in our vicinity and our space is a crime. Nigga, slavery ain't over because now instead of just outright just saying, oh, we don't need no laws to make you a slave. Nigga, ain't no laws to stop us. Now they passing laws to make you a slave. Before they didn't need no laws, right? Because there wasn't nobody to oppose them. Everybody was on the same team. Slavery was legal, but once slavery became not legal, it is still legal, but they tricked us and said, oh, it ain't legal. Now it's secret slavery now. It ain't outright slavery. It is, but it's secret. And then that's what I call, and it's called convict leasing.
Come on, bring that up. Let's go. Underemployed, homeless, skid.
The first thing they lease is your mind. They create all of these illusions in your mind that you're an American, that you got a chance to be free if you get a job and stay out of trouble. But as we've seen back in the day, we don't give a damn how squeaky clean you was. You get caught up with the wrong white folks, nigga, you either getting lynched or getting thrown in jail or getting framed. And if they jealous of you and you got too much property, they're going to kill your ass and take your property back in the day. So we want to hear that shit about somebody free. Nigga, you ain't never been free. You got tricked, maybe. That was my point. Freedom is an illusion. What the hell is freedom, motherfucker? Freedom is a trick.
Road, decadent veil. Let's turn this down. Let's get with Yvette. I'm going to let Yvette chime in, and we're going to talk a little bit about a little side thing before I get into the questions. Yvette, what's your thoughts on this study that came out before I ask you some other stuff?
Well, I mean, the first thing that I think about the study is just one of the things that I hope that we've done in terms of the work that we do is just to show you how propaganda works. And so and it's funny that piece of propaganda came out right around the time that we were talking about. We had this whole conversation about, how immigrants are doing better than us, Hispanics specifically. And we had data.
Welcome back to Mama's Kitchen, and we cooking again. Welcome back to Mama's Kitchen. We cooking again.
About,
Karma's Kitchen. We cooking up that karma, bartender. Karma's cooking.
Baked in. And then you come right back with, no, black people are doing great. And so the thing is, we've had this abdication in our community of nobody's doing the work. And the people who are doing the work in academia, nobody's pushing that work. And so what's happening now is that we're getting into a space where we're making people have to kind of respond. You have to say something. Like, it's an abdication that nobody's been doing this. Nobody's been pushing back in any kind of tangible way that can be felt in the black community when they just throw this propaganda to make you feel like, oh, you're
Come on, man. Yvette, I brought you on for a particular reason outside of this stuff. Talked to you about it earlier. Everybody always talking. Everybody always talking about solutions. How we don't give no solutions. We only face the problem. I want to break this thing down a little bit so they can stop talking. Let's talk about the first thing. Stop telling me that you don't need white government. Everything in your life is government. From the pothole street that you drive down, to the street lights that turn on when 7 o'clock hits, to the water you turn off on your phone.
But that's the problem. Why didn't the people, they own land, they own production companies, they own neighborhoods that's separated from any other? Why they ain't divided up racially? This integration shit fucked up everything. Hell yeah, it did, because then it stopped people from being able to hire each other. Now you got to go get hired from another race of people, which ain't going to happen. That's going to be a monopoly rules. Only place you going is to the penitentiary. So that integration shit, that was a trick. Nigga, you need your own shit. God bless the child, the people that got their own, because if you don't got your own, everybody else got their own shit. What you mean they don't? Motherfuckers, just because they come to America and be broke for 5 minutes, then get a job and be rich for the rest of their life, don't mean that them motherfuckers don't got their own shit. How the fuck you think they got here? They already had their own country. They ain't like no black person in America who ain't got no country except the police shooting them in the back. Some lying-ass public schools that don't teach you shit but how to go to prison. That ain't no damn country. Some motherfucker place where where if you do try to grow some food, they come in there and pass some laws to steal your land from you, and or won't give you no loan in case you run into some problems. That ain't no damn country. That's majority rule of dictatorship and boycotting your ass. Your ass been excluded. They passed a secret law that you cannot participate. How the fuck is that? How the hell is that a country, nigga? That is martial law and convict leasing. Nigga, that's communism.
Bossy, everything come from government in your whole life. And you talking like you in a developing country and you built all your stuff. This ain't about white government. This is about the government that your family built with their blood. So I'm not understanding what everybody's saying when they say white government not gonna give us nothing. When everything about your first world life came from the progress of civil rights and the Voting Rights Act. See, all of that is right-wing propaganda.
That's bullshit, Tone. The fuck did a vote get a motherfucker? Show me something that a vote got a motherfucker. Nigga, all they did was just brought some more voters than you and voted your ass down. So you please explain to me about this voting shit you talking about.
And I guess for me, what I'm running into is people still keep on tagging me in Facebook.
Anyway, even if you did vote and then you did get what the hell you wanted, they were just gonna pass a law to steal this shit back from you underneath the table, or then send somebody to just take your ass out and steal your shit outright. What are you talking about, Tone? The fuck the voting get? Where's your own shit, man? Your own little communities and shit. That's what you needed. We ain't need no damn vote, because the vote wasn't gonna give you no job, wasn't gonna pay your rent, and it wasn't gonna make an environment where people could get along with each other of the same ethnic background. Nigga, I ain't trying to integrate with everybody else's background, ethnic groups, because they are secret societies, and they don't want nobody to interfere with their shit. They don't want to share. Their shit is private, and I respect that. Why black people can't have that? That's my question. If everybody else got their own private damn communities and shit, even if they integrated, even if they live around somebody else, they still practicing their own individual traditions and beliefs and shit. They ain't practicing everybody else's traditions and beliefs.
Facebook, because they fighting with their friends. I don't have those friends. If you tell me that government is white man, you probably ain't with me. We don't need to talk that much. So, Yvette, I want you to chime in on white man is government point.
We won't, because I got my own mind.
Well, you know, I think it's a masterstroke. Like, it's a masterstroke. Remember, everybody remembers the whole Charles Wu thing with Boyce Watkins, where Charles Wu was talking about how Boyce Watkins was his character and that he was a pitchman and all that stuff. Well, remember what he said. He said something very specific. He said the way we sell products, and he said he's done it before. He said the way we sell products to black people, we tell them that this product is their way to come out from up under the white overlord. So what they tell you so that you'll buy the product is, well, I'm not gonna wait for the white man to do nothing.
What white man? They got just as many Uncle Toms and Sambos and all the rest of these Hucklebees, all these niggas, woodchuckers, all that shit. We got a whole bunch of black face sellouts. We got more blackface. Black on black is more dangerous than white on black. Black on black culture is causing way more murders than all the damn wars put together. What are you talking about? What you talking about? White people. Nigga, it's the black people in that, but they got is mental illness. They up under some delusion. They following demon possessed by that dollar bill. Ain't no way out but to sell each other out, because ain't nobody got a pot to piss in, and can't nobody give each other a job. So now what you gonna do? Nigga? I told you that they're sending you straight to the penitentiary. They're gonna drive your ass first. Before you get to jail, you first gonna go crazy. First of all, it's one step at a time. You know what I mean? Before you get anywhere near the penitentiary or jail, you first got to go to the goddamn mental and psych ward first, nigga. You got to try on your straitjacket first. Then you might get chosen to go to jail. Other than graveyard of jail. Before you get to the graveyard of jail, you first got to go insane, buddy. It's called mental illness. It's called a delusion. When you start thinking shit that ain't even happening, talking about this voting shit, instead of people building something and then forcing the government to say, okay, this is our shit, our own thing, and then we can make something off of that, rather than we got all these fake-ass individual rappers and celebrities and sports stars and all this make up their little shit and then suck us up like vampires, and then we'd even be more drained than we was before we even got drained, before we even got dropped off the slave ship and worked for nothing in on the plantations. Because now we got these secret ghost culture, your own people, your own fake ass people doing it to you. That's why I don't see no such thing as black. That's just a color. Because inside that person's mind and spirit might be a demon, a pirate.
For me,
That's
I'm
out
not
to
gonna,
rob everybody.
me,
Don't even believe
I
in
gotta
God.
tap up on the white man.
I mean,
That's a selling point.
this is the only culture I see that they don't even believe in God no more. I don't even hear religion no more on the radio. I don't hear nothing about God on the radio, the TV, nothing. And then it seemed like they used this pandemic as an excuse to shut everybody down, shut everybody up, especially God. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, I don't hear nothing about church no more. Ever since this pandemic thing jumped off, it's like everybody is just on silent when it comes to God, the topic of God or something like that. I'm telling you, this reminds me so much of Russia, so much of communism, so much of China, because that's where communism came from, Russia and China.
Point. And see what's happened, that's happened even in our politics. See, in our politics, we don't talk about how, the white man, I got to have my own business so I can't get from the white man. We say, the white man is dead. So it goes from the white overlord. It's the same thing when you say a white government, white Uncle Sam, you waiting for your white daddy. It's the same scam. And the whole scam is used to either sell us something or convince us that we don't need something because we can do it for ourselves. So we don't have access to our own government. It's all propaganda. Anytime you hear that, and so what I want to say to people, anytime you hear that, y'all just want something from the white man, or anytime you hear that, this product is going to help you not have to go work for the white man, understand that this is a very intentional scam to keep you spinning your own hamster wheel, round and round and round we go, and never get anything.
Yeah, and it's a trip because that brings me to the second thing. What's the solution? Look, right now, a caste is forming in America. And you on the bottom. I don't care which, a lot of black people don't even understand. When I say that the middle black family in LA is worth $200, when I say that the middle black family across the nation is worth $1,700 without a family car, I'm telling you that you don't gotta know. And the thing that's so funny is like everybody's like, where's that person? Everybody at your Thanksgiving. Everybody at your Thanksgiving. I'm looking at this article from the Wall Street Journal. It says the OECD, the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, sounds the alarm over a broken elevator for social mobility. In the U.S., it could take roughly 100 years for the descendants of a person in the bottom 10% to secure a middle income. Your whole family, like 40% of black people in the bottom 10%. That's just income. That's not even looking at wealth. We'll get into that on that study as well, how they use income instead of wealth with the AEI study that we're going to be talking about. But like what you don't understand is like when you look at India, a lot of the problem is that people ain't been nowhere. They ain't traveled. So we got a lot of black folks that ain't never left South Carolina. Or if they left South Carolina, they went over to Atlanta and came back to South Carolina. So they don't have context for like how systems work, say in parts of Africa, tribes, how castes work in India. The caste system in India, the Brahmins are on the top, the Vaishyas in the middle, and the untouchables at the bottom. The untouchables are like in the Slumdog Millionaire movie. Your family came from slaves. Your family below the untouchables. What does that mean if a caste system forms? You're going to be under the caste. You know, Dr. Kevin Cosby used a great analogy about the melting pot. He said, we not in the melting pot. We the little biscuits that they use to burn at the bottom that become ash so everybody else can melt. So I'm saying all that to say, if a caste is forming, understand the reason why we're saying that we need transformative government isn't so you don't have aspiration. It is the solution to break down the caste so your aspiration can actually mean something. So you don't need government, but you're going to break out of a caste. You ain't got $2 in your bank account, but you gonna be the one. The solution is to understand that you can't be the one because it ain't about one. It's about collectivity. It's about a social movement. Me and Yvette are coming. Now you can get on the train or you can watch it go by. Yvette, you want to say something?
No, I want to. I think it's almost as if like this is just like your call to duty. Like it's not about like this sort of thing, this microwave solution. So 400 years of systemic sustained oppression, and most of us are still asleep, right? Until we can do it ourselves. But you want like this instantaneous solution to that thing. No, this is first of all a call to you're having a realization that thing is real. That thing is real. Now, to understand,
back to reality.
To understand that thing is real, you have to understand that there is no specific individual solution that you can do that will change that without involving government. Nobody's saying that you can't do business, but you can't do business without government. You don't compete with Amazon without government protecting you in a protected space to do business. How is that possible?
If you think you can believe it, Yvette, you don't need no government protections. You just don't.
Okay.
I mean, that's what they tell us. We not giving solutions. We not giving solutions. Look, next time that you say that to me, don't come back on my channel when you get your divorce and your wife stole your money out your account. Don't come telling me the after effects of you living in a fantasy. If you don't want to be part of this reality. These are not numbers just for the sake of numbers. These are the data sets that reflect all of our families. And if your family's an aberration and you got 10 LeBron James, I commend you. But I tell you right now, even Byron Allen ain't got 10 LeBron James and he bought the Weather Channel for $300 million. You lying. You Superman with no cape and just naked. Come on, man. Come on. Actually, I'm going to give you a cape. Black dude out here with an afro with a cape on talking about he's Superman. Naked. Come on, man.
We used to call those people crazy.
That's what they sound like. Come on. And Yvette, so we're going to get into this. If you could, walk down with me down a little bit of this. This is Dash Radio, Dash Talk X, 323-879-4445. I want your voice to be heard on this because this is so problematic that CNN put this out because they almost validated a conservative think tank using all the wrong data to reflect what was going on with wealth. Myself, Sandy Darity, Dark Hamilton, Ann Price, and several other economists, you know, we put out a paper, what we get wrong about closing the racial wealth gap got covered everywhere, and what we lay out is the reality of things. I don't know what these people were doing. I did a short video on it, but I wanted to come back and do a show, let everybody get their voice and get a chance to chime in. I think we got our first caller. Let's take this caller event, then we'll just get to the first question. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Phil, calling from Hopkins, South Carolina. How you doing, Tom?
All right, you're going to walk down the first question, but let's turn your background down because we're about to get into it. The first question is, why would CNN post an article saying black men are succeeding in America made by a conservative think tank? 37% of black males unemployed in Wisconsin, that's social collapse.
I mean, where the hell they get this picture from? Bartender? I mean, you know, Sogan family, look at them. They damn near look like they're at a church choir. They don't look like they're at a college graduating. Because they look like they're singing. Their mouth is open and shit for the first time ever. Because, you know, they tell them to shut the hell up when they get to these colleges. Don't look at no women. Why they got a million rules for you to kick your ass out. Then they got police brutality on them college campuses, too. Some of the most craziest police is them college campus police. Nigga, because they there jealous of you because they looking at you like you going to live this fake ass dream that you ain't never going to achieve because it's all a scam to just steal a student loan about you, rob you for a student loan, right? And so the police are jealous of you for nothing. 'Cause you might not even, or you might wind up with a regular being a security guard just like they is, just to pay back your student loan. And they the ones that's successful because they skipped that part and went straight to just being the police. I mean, straight to getting a regular job. You know what I mean? The campus police. You know, so now, yeah, like I said, man, once you get to them campuses, it's vicious there too. Plus, they got them damn professors that's racist, trying to kick you out or give you a hard time or claim or look for any little thing to get you ostracized, for you to forfeit your chance. So that's like a battleground too. It's a battlefield too, going to that campus. But my point was, don't this picture look like a damn, the only place they do got church on graduation day? Nigga, the only time you get, and the only thing you can say is sing this fake ass song, automata that they didn't taught you. Sound like a robot to me. These don't look like no graduates, no successful black men to me. Look like some damn robots. And then half of them ain't even gonna make it and just gonna wind up with a regular job anyway and paying back their student loan and divorced. So what the hell they talking about? This damn pictures don't mean nothing. Nigga, Kodak can kiss my American flag.
1 in 5 black men nationally didn't work in 2016. CNN actually put that out. And as Bernie Sanders, a black male baby, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, has a 1 in 3 chance of going to jail. Let me give you some context for that. Among women, all women, it's only a 3% chance that a black woman goes to jail. A 1.5% chance for a Hispanic, and a 0.5%. Basically, if you're a woman, you ain't gonna go to jail.
And if you're Chinese, you ain't going to jail at all.
So we talking 33% chance, and we living in the first world. So I asked first you, Yvette,
because everybody on the force is Chinese.
why would CNN allow them to write this? Because it was written as an opinion piece and title it "Black Men Are Successful, Are Succeeding." Let me say it again: Black men are succeeding in America.
Well, I think one of the reasons is, look, CNN is kind of picking up on something. When MSNBC when Obama was president, what you saw with MSNBC, you saw a lot of black faces. You saw a lot. Everybody from Ray to Melissa Harris Perry. You saw a lot. Al Sharpton was on every day. You saw a lot of black faces. Well, the thing is, once he was
they was black on the outside, but on the inside they was dollar bills. So what is you talking about? What you mean, green faces?
These were the Negro whisperers, the people who want to interpret Obama. Once Trump got in, you saw it move to the right. So when I turn on the TV on MSNBC, anytime during the day, there's a Republican woman who worked during George W. Bush's administration, right? So I think what CNN is doing too, you see they're ticking to the right. Like they're kind of ticking to the right because they see like not only is Trump here, we thought that he would be gone, but his numbers aren't as bad as we thought they were going to be. We might have to kind of track ourselves to the right to stay out of the crosshairs. And there's also a propaganda motive here because we can't have black people out here. And the media has always, that's why Trump can get away with saying fake news, because the media has always, it has never been like a unbiased. It's always been an arm of like the establishment government. And so what they're doing is propaganda too. Yeah, y'all all right. Y'all don't get upset. Just know that you're doing good and keep trying.
So that way you don't need no reparations. Don't worry about that affirmative action decision last week. You just go ahead and you take care of your brother that's fresh out of prison. You go ahead, you deal with your son that can't find no job after he went to Howard. You just deal with that. Y'all succeeding though. Caller, what's your opinion on this whole thing?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. When I first read about it, I was like, man, that's propaganda, because it reminded me of that thing where there was an article that came out years back that said how you starting to have like black increasing in college degree rates and stuff like that. It's basically a feel good piece to say, okay, yeah, we're doing well out here, even though the people that's on the ground that see it every day, like my case, I work 3 jobs and only make 11,000.
Say that again. No, say that again. Let everybody hear that again.
3 jobs
I'm
and
a
11,000
graduate, and I work 3 jobs.
just to
3
pay
jobs
back
and
my
only
student
make
loan.
11,000 at the end of the day.
Each one?
Total, let's see. The one job I make $8.50 an hour. The other job I make $9 an hour, and I basically make basically hovering around minimum wage on all 3.
Let me tell you this, caller. This ain't gonna happen under my watch. We coming. I don't think everybody understands. They been saying solution. They better not let me hit this corner. Cause I can't have it. I can't have you working for $11,000 after college. Hook or crook, we coming.
I told
And so
you.
I commend you on that. Let me let you
all
finish
a
your
trick.
point, man. I feel for you.
It's robbing people.
But that's the messed up
The
part.
new
'cause
new
the thing
plantation.
that kind of ties, this will tie to the second question, where you mentioned about the boomer thing. When I was growing up, we was always told, go to college. It was always told, this was basically given information that was 2 and 3 generations old. Oh, you go to college, you will find you a job. We weren't told, okay, you go to college, you find you a network and stuff like that, and you get a good job. We just told, oh, go to college, everything will be all right. And that was information that worked well for my grandma's generation in the 70s, but look at this. My dad graduated from college. He had to cut hair for 10 years before he was able to get a somewhat stable job. And look at me. I went to college and had amazing GPA and everything, and you see what I'm doing right now. 3 jobs and dealing with this crap. So
Thank you so much, caller. Let me take this next call. Everybody want to get their opinion on this. Let's take the next caller. So look, Yvette. This man spoke to something called timing, right? You still there?
absolutely.
I don't think we understand timing. I mean, it's like somebody came on your Instagram talking about, well, my granddaddy did it, I can do it too. Look how many lessons. You can't come in on 101 no more. I done shown y'all the Diallo chart the last few shows, but even if you don't use the Diallo chart, you can use another one. I think they came out on the Pew or something of the sort. And what you got to understand is there was a kicker that happened right about when the boomers came of age. Especially this. So this study is about men that are about 60 years old. Between 57 and 64 is their birth years. Those are the late boomers. You can't use the late boomers, not the black or white, to frame the reality of the moment. You particularly can't use black ones because they just got government jobs or they just got good jobs that have retirement accounts at Ford or something that don't exist no more.
You can't only just not use them for that reference as far as economic, but you can't use them for relationships and marriages and religion and none of that. It looked like all that went out the window. It's like he's talking about timing, how the pandemic came, how even before that, the rap music came and the drugs came, and then that just erased the whole culture. You know what I mean? That erased the whole culture because remember the culture was get a job, go to church, go to school, and just, you know, live and get along with your neighbors. That whole, now we got gangs everywhere. You can't go to no block. Every block is some war zone and some no-go zone. You know, is just private property for some gang in that area. So what happened, man? How the hell is that? Yesterday? No, that's today. And it looked like ain't nobody ready. The Jetsons ain't ready for the future, but the future is ready for them.
This is before immigration. This is right after we get all of our rights and our affirmative action and government contract for black businesses. What they got to do with the moment? So CNN puts the article up, and the picture is millennial college grads. But you click the article,
nigga, singing,
and it's about boomers. I mean, I don't think everybody understands how ignorant that is. But to make it clear,
ignorant.
You know, a friend of the show wrote an article called "A Sleight of Success."
What do today got to do with 50 years ago? Nothing. It's a whole new world. You know what I'm saying? What do 50 years ago got to do with today?
A slight success. So I apologize. And what he
Them
said,
times
just to
is
share a
gone.
little bit of his article with you,
You can't get
as
nothing from
Antonio
them.
Moore has rightly pointed out in his eviscerating critique of the study, the researchers limited their focus to black men who were born between the years 57 and 64, talking about the study. More properly periodized in relation to U.S. wealth, those crucial years marked the tail end of the boomer generation, whose access to the American middle class was in many ways wholly unlike any that had preceded or followed it. Black men who were born during this era and who would then grow up to be representatives of the AEI study, the American Enterprise Institute study we're talking about, success stories, did so in a shadow of unprecedented social mobility for descendants of U.S. slaves. That ability to be upwardly mobile during the latter half of the 20th century was something that was largely aided by a number of civil rights gains, victories which critically resulted in the federal government, whether through codifying into law or incentivizing employers and school officials via disbursement of federal dollars, creating targeted and race-specific initiatives intended to open up access to education and employment within Black America, and thus to offer improved chances of economic stability. So we're looking at government access during a time when government ain't giving no access. Understand this. The late boomers benefited from low-cost education. College was free almost. They benefited from great jobs. They had great retirement. That's why they're retired now. They benefited from being the recipients of the work by Medgar Evers and Dr. King and Malcolm X, being perfectly timed in terms of age. And they benefited from a white America that was ready to accept some Black Americans.
They benefited from having some parents who was already stable and who had already was in a business or a trade, and then or a company, and then they hooked up and just took their father's place after they got up to age, because their father was already a roadmap for them. You know what I mean? So if you didn't have that support system, you didn't benefit either. It was all about nothing from nothing leaves nothing. So the benefit came from whoever your parents was and how they was directing you and advising you how to prepare yourself for economic independence.
Lack respectability into the doorway. So now we after that. But the study framed its article, its opinion article, like it's right now. Yvette, are you there?
I'm here.
What's your take on this timing element?
Well, I think, timing. The whole timing element goes right along with the whole activism element, right? Like, I think what happens is that too many American Black DOS really thought that the door swung open, and the door just stayed open. Mm-hmm. Like it was like the end. Like it was like this was just like there was some permanent.
Oh, the door swung open, and then Vietnam happened, and then the Great Migration happened, nigga. It wasn't that the door didn't swing open. With the dough, the cup got filled up, and then there wasn't no more room in the cup, nigga. That's what happened. Ain't no more room in the cup. So at that point in time, it was some room in the cup. Now it ain't no more room in the cup based on overpopulation. They forgot the impact of that Great Migration, the Vietnam War.
What you see, there's nothing really permanent about this life except for change. And change is something that
And now
now
we got another one, and that's called anomaly. Anomaly. And that means sudden change. That means sudden change. That causes conflict theory.
Every day, and it's
sudden change.
But we thought that door was just open, and we thought that door, the same door that Granddaddy, when he got to work at GE and he had a middle manager,
that's called enemy.
The same door that you think that door was just going to stay open. Like this is just no. Everything is shifting, and if you're one of us, everything is always shifting against you, because the thing that we're built here to be the trash compactors, to eat all the failure. So. The belief that door had swung open and now we were just a part of America and we didn't have to do anything is like the one of the most acute failures of Black leadership even black academia. And I'm not saying that some of them don't do good stuff, but you don't hear about it. And then people who do write in a way that black people can really get into sometimes are shunned or marginalized. And that's a problem.
So again, 323-879-4445 dash radio dash talk X. Please support the channel. Use the super chat, tonetalks.org. Also support my girl Breaking Brown and Yvette Carnell. Reach over there and catch her on Monday and Wednesdays. But look, this is the thing that's interesting. Let's talk about some of the things that the boomers benefited from. Cheap housing, no-cost college, middle-class jobs that didn't require college, 40-hour work weeks, no requirement to save for your kids to go to college. You didn't have to. Now you got a bunch of black young millennials with $80,000, $120,000 in student debt talking about their kid not going to have no student debt. Or their kid going to be an entrepreneur. All despite the data showing that 90% of black businesses are undercapitalized, have no employees. So it's all based on just no product, just entrepreneurship. So when I also look at the boomers, I can't help but look at the door that just swung shut. I don't know if everybody following the Supreme Court. That union decision that came down last week that they can't force people to pay dues will be the gutting of unions. Meaning the decision means that what you could do before as a union is basically, because everybody receives benefits, even if you decided not to be a member of the union as an employee of Coca-Cola or whatever else, you basically still had to pay into the dues. Now, people can opt out. Oh, you know what happens? You know that we won't have the retirements in the unions? Let's take this next call. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tom, this is Quentin, and I'm calling from Portland, Oregon.
Oh, Quentin, I want to ask you, I want to go into the third question. I got Yvette here. I hope I have a few more minutes with her. I tended to let her go, but y'all know I can't let Yvette go. Y'all know I got to make sure that she spread that juice, that noni juice. I don't know if it's real.
Is that another scam?
Yvette selling noni juice on her channel, y'all. No, I'm just kidding. Look, the third thing is, what is the poverty line and why is it wrong to use it in an assessment of black progress? $24,000 for two people and their two kids. Is that a right measure of success? TheNation.com did an article and they said that and they talked about how the federal poverty line was just too damn low. When they created the federal poverty line, they used half of the median income for the nation. But Johnson and Nixon, they opted out of that and just said, let's just use inflation. To the point now where the poverty line is like $15,000, $12,000 too low. So when you get a study like the American Enterprise Institute study that tries to measure against the poverty line as if it was static, it shows they either don't know the basics of economics or they lying. Either way, I want to hear from you. You can't just say how many black men are above the poverty line, because the poverty line is not static or consistent. They have changed the way it's measured.
But what I see from this conversation that Tony's having is that, hey, he's just talking about the middle class black folks. He's talking about the people who, some kind of way they was able to get an education, even though they didn't have no whole bunch of money or something. They still got an education. Just because they don't got no money don't mean that they ain't qualified for whatever position, or that they don't have the ability and the knowledge to do that position. You know what I mean? So they ain't ignorant. They very intelligent, and they got all the tools that it takes to fit into of the workforce, right? But but what about the other people that didn't have all this training, that didn't get all this education, that didn't graduate from high school or something, or got stuck in some jail or prison or something, and then when they came out, they had to start all over? What about that class of people? What about the lower class of people? And he said them people is even lower than the untouchables in India. He said they got less of an opportunity for being successful or escaping poverty in society than the most lowest person on the rung in the caste system in India, and they call them untouchables. Now, how the hell can you go lower than that?
What do you think, caller? I want to get your opinion on this.
It's just interesting because even when
And you wonder why they got all these tents and stuff all in these streets, and got all these people walking around with these mental illnesses and on drugs and in and out of these clinics for mental counseling for mental health issues and drug addiction, and you wonder why? Because nigga, they like been ostracized. They like the outcasts. Remember, because it's a caste system: middle, upper, and lower. Right? Well, they lowered and lower. They the outcasts. They lowered and the lower. Lowest of the lowest. Right? They the outcasts. So that's what he talking about. I mean, he ain't talking about. He's saying that's where they going, but he ain't really hitting that point yet. What about the outcasts? Them people that you see living in them tents and shit. Some of them might have some college degrees. Some of them might have had a job, but then after that pandemic or whatever else, now look at them. They the outcasts.
applying for college and different things like that. Like, since the report that you released,
He's still talking about people still hanging on
gap,
and shit.
the racial wealth gap and different
The middle
things.
class.
You find that Native Black DOS, we're monolithic in terms of
Not the
wealth
homeless.
and how much wealth we have. And when you go to apply for those scholarships, certain ones, they want you to be like dirt poor, or that they measure you by the federal poverty line, and it's like.
Well, let's say one more thing. Let's say one more thing that they do. So this study used income. We have shown that income is a flawed way to measure families. Let's look at wealth, bro. They didn't want to look at wealth because when you get into that wealth, you might get negative and no wealth and all kind of things. So we look at income, right? But the problem with a lot of these colleges is what? They don't look at wealth. They look at income. So the colleges is looking at income. Your mama made $80,000 last year. I don't care that she paid $15,000 for student loans on net. She made $80,000. So like, what does that mean for us? If you paying credit cards and student loans and people say, well, the credit cards are your fault. No, I had to get a laptop to go to school. I had to pay for my summers because I really couldn't find work and I'm trying to stay in school. Like, none of that counts. So like what we end up with is we're double whammy. While white people sitting on all the wealth, but maybe they shut their income down. They sitting on $1.5 million, making $10,000 a year. On paper, they look like they can get Section 8. And so like I come to it and I say, what do you think about them? Let me ask Yvette. Let me bring her in. What do you think about them gaming us with this poverty line, Yvette?
Well, yeah, it's all like we'll allow them to set the benchmark, right? But that's what happens. Like and this is not all
Standard, the benchmark.
One of the things that happens with us is that because we are, and this is why we can't compare ourselves to Africans. This is why we can't compare ourselves to Jamaicans. This is why we can't compare ourselves to Haitians. We're in a have been historically, this is the browning of America now, but still, majority white country. Well, what happens is that you're always in reaction mode. So you're always being reactionary to whatever bar they set. And whatever bar they set is 99% of the time beneficial to them. So it's hard for us to think outside of that and try to think in terms of, okay, wait a minute. Is this the marker that I should be using? Is this what we should be doing? Instead, what we say is, well, they set the marker. We just gotta go get some more income. Instead of saying like, no. Let's think about this outside of that. Let's think about this outside of this box that they have prescribed for us to like run around in like little rats.
Let me point out one other thing, because somebody in there chirping, they don't know I lean with it. Everything you got coming, I got something for you. So somebody in there chirping about like, they talking about people that was in their 20s during the 80s. They talking about the late boomers or the Gen Xers. Look, this study is flawed also because it includes two distinct groups. You can't really include people born between 57 and 60 that caught the tail end of Carter with people that are born between 61 and 64 that caught the early part of Reagan. That's not my fault. This is what the study did. But at the end of the day, that group has a way better potential than the group today. Because this thing here, this Uber, This you drive at night by they had you driving over there by Skid Row, dropping off 2 homeless people. They have you they'll have you as a single mama going all the way to Irvine at 3 a.m. because you're trying to get your kid an extra pair of Nikes. They didn't have that. Do you understand the kind of retirement plans that were at government jobs, like the post office, like the county of Los Angeles? Stop lying. My mama had me at 16, so she was that age. You could get a good job that paid $30,000 and gave you what they call grade A retirement. You know what grade they giving right now at many of these government jobs in LA? Grade none. They don't give retirement. They gave some kind of 401k plan. Even when I came of age, they were giving the E plan. So A, B, C, D, E. E, when I was coming out of law school. Now they don't even give it. So don't tell me about that like you guys had it so hard. This is the game they play on millennials. Wealth is calcified. 1980, while Reagan got elected, it was the peak of wealth spread between the bottom and the top, between 0.1 and the 90. So yeah, Reagan got elected, but it took years before it really set in. That's why somebody like Rick Mama had a house. Rick Mama had a house in 1980. You could come from Texas and come to LA and actually buy a house without being well educated or anything. I think everybody lying to us. Everybody telling us a mistruth about timing. And young people got to start understanding your life after college. A young man just called in before you commented and told us that he worked 3 jobs after college making $11,000. Do we understand like nothing makes sense that you just said in the comment? Do I respect the fact that there was a struggle? Yeah. But what I am telling you is that we in a different moment. And so what I want to do right now, Yvette and caller, is just come back to looking at the 4th question as we move through this. Y'all both still with me, right?
Yeah.
All right. This is a less about data, just more about like how we view things. Because what I get a lot, me and Yvette talk basically every day. But what I get from a lot of young women and people that I talk to is they just want to hear somebody that want to be successful. 2C silent, successful. So they just want Peter Parker. They ain't never been to no laboratory to tell them that he gonna be Spider-Man. And they want him to climb right now up the building. And I'm saying to you, if you believe, because a lot of people shared this article, didn't even look at who wrote it, didn't look at it came from a conservative think tank. Came from conservative think tank. 3 people wrote it. It was W. Bradford Wilcox, a sociologist.
How in the hell what do they know anything about African American individuals? Look at them people. We got one, what is he? I don't know what. The nigga look like he from Arabia or somewhere, pretending to be white. Dude at the top, him right here. Then we got Becky Chu, knowing damn well she don't know nothing. Almost made me cuss about being black. Nothing, not at all. Don't even be around no black folks. Even, I don't give a damn if they got interracial relationships. No, your culture is a secret society culture. And it ain't into that. It's communist culture. This lady right here, what the hell how is she an expert on black politics or black culture? How the hell is she? And then we got, I don't know what he is. He look like he's from the Caribbean somewhere. But they be sticking them in there. You know what I mean? They go get a man with dark skin and call him black. But knowing damn well that every black person in Africa, every African got their own little Nigerian, Ethiopian, Zimbabwean, Swahili, Zulu. Nigga, there ain't no one damn black person. So how they gonna do that in America? They gonna go get an Uncle Tom and let him speak for all black people? No, he don't. Look at this Uncle Tom looking motherfucker. Nigga, he look like he from Cuba. The fuck you talking about? It could be an immigrant. They just get any motherfucker with a fake black skin, cause you just see. And so my point is, ain't no black people even up here. So how the hell is they speaking for black folks? How that happen? Ain't not one black person on this panel. Look at that. Don't even try that Obama shit with me. I don't want to hear no more of that shit. You see Obama, fake motherfucker, ain't nothing about him black,
Now
dude.
that kind of miss. Wendy
Better
Wang,
get that
this
motherfucker
Asian
out my
woman,
face.
and Ronald Mincy, this old black man.
He
Voted
ain't
for
black,
AEI.
nigga. You know that nigga is the old policeman. You mean the old slave overseer, the old nigga that's gonna stitch on your ass and pass some policies and then be eating dinner with master tonight laughing at your ass while you in some chains picking cotton, nigga.
Come on, I
I don't know how you consider that person black.
It's tongue toss.
It's the police, nigga.
You know, me and Sandy Darity, you can check our Twitter thread. We went back and forth explaining how this thing makes no sense. I'm just telling y'all that I'm here now. Nothing goes past these walls that ain't right. And I feel like for a lot of us, we not used to that because we ain't seen nobody go at these old people head like this. Or we ain't seen nobody like Yvette go at Ocasio-Cortez like she did last week. I commend you, Yvette. And we not going for it no more. And so I look at this thing and I'm going to read number 4 to you. If you believe black men are successful, is it based on the man in the mirror? This is for the black man himself when you wake up. Or for the couples asking the women that date these men, the actual guy that you're dating, or is it his projection? Is this all based on the possibilities of what he says he'll become after he sells all his Herbalife packages? Or when he stacks up from Uber and starts that pizza truck? Are we being honest about the person in front of us? What would make someone share that CNN article that is so ignorant? Caller, you want to say something on that? If you don't, I totally understand.
Man, shoot, the thing I thought about when I looked at that article was the fact that I did prison ministry and different things like that back in 2014, and we traveled the East Coast and we did like performances like theater and stuff like that. We would go to the different jails. We went to Rikers, went to Maine State Prison and different things like that, and I think that was the first time. We also went to women's and youth correctional facilities, so we got the whole gamut, and I think that really opened my eyes because the last place we went to, it was the biggest group we had, and the further south we went, we started in Maine, New England, and then we went down to New York and ended in Philly, and the further south you went, the more young black men and more young black men and black men in general you saw in prison. And the black female side of things, it was very homogenous as well. It was nothing but black women in those prisons, the black youth, and it was just astounding to me how in my face it was that we're not successful, and that we're basically being enslaved, re-enslaved, and then through imprisonment and mass incarceration. So we really don't have a future is what it felt like to me. It weighed very heavily on me. So to see an article like this and then the report that came out, a couple of months back about the punishing reach that racism has and how we as black men don't have any mobility, upward mobility, economic mobility, especially, I think it was like Generation Y, the people who were born in the 70s, late and mid 70s and different things like that. So it totally contradicts that whole report, which is why it doesn't make sense. So, and myself personally, I'm in the same boat as the other caller in terms of having student loans and going to college and doing everything right and then not really getting the results that I should have gotten. Like so many other black people, we've been held back by racism. So, I don't know about this whole success thing and black men being successful. It just sounds crazy to me.
Let me jump in here. Let me take one more caller for the night. Let's take this next caller. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Vaughn from Detroit.
Let me say this to the last caller. I'm just trying to get everybody in. The calls come in hot. Thank you so much for calling in. Let me say this, though. What's going on right now, because there's a second now, so everybody talked about Gen Xers, now somebody talking about old boomers. I'm not talking to, you got to be clear about what we're talking about. I didn't make the block that they're talking about, the study did. They're not talking about people that came home in the color of law. Those are either greatest generation people or old boomers that are way outside of this window. So I'm not saying that they didn't have it hard trying to get a house and everything. But at the same time, still be honest, them houses was cheap. Like LA, a house is $500,000 entry level. Understand that the middle black family is worth $200 here. I think that what has happened is we've let this narrative go on too long that y'all had it better or y'all had it worse. This moment, according to Thomas Piketty, who wrote Capital in the 21st Century, America has the most unequal wealth since the Gilded Age. Since the Gilded Age. I come back to it and I ask Yvette before I jump to the caller, what's up with this sharing of this article? And these people that want to have a success just want any kind of mate that tells them that success is possible.
Yeah, I think, but see, the thing is, we're so caught up, like, we believe in magic. There's no other way to say it. Like, we believe in magic. We might as well believe in Harry Potter. Because it's wish fulfillment syndrome. It's wish fulfillment syndrome. You know, and Oprah did a lot of that in terms of this indoctrination. And that you change your world, you transform your world, not just change it in terms of I can work out, I can run that mile. Like, see, I'm not saying that your thought don't matter. If you running, I'm a runner. If you run, like, your mental state matters. There are definitely spaces where that can transform. It can transform your workout. It can't transform 400 years of systemic oppression where you're locked out. It doesn't transform that. It can transform how you deal with that, but it cannot transform that thing in itself. And so what we have, though, is this generation of wish fulfillment who think that they think, these people think that they're mind benders. They can look at something and think about it long enough and it changes. Well, if that were the case, we'd all be rich and swimming in Bentleys and diamonds and rubies.
I think that's a lot of reason. I think that's a lot of the reason that the divorce rate is so high. The first time marriages for black women. I think it's because wish fulfillment ain't working no more. You know, you got that slipper coming off, like, you know, I think it's Cinderella. It's falling off mid-marriage before they leave the chapel. And so, like, I come to it, and I also got to ask about marriage too. Caller, you still there with us, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
So this is the one of the last two questions. I'm gonna let you chime in.
The whole culture
What is
fractured.
the danger of pushing propaganda around marriage or the military as
Fractured
fixes
culture.
for historical systemic
All the
oppression?
things that was going on back then might not be have changed now. Might have been erased. You know, they because it's based on the dollar, right? Back then the dollar was more accessible. Now the dollar is less accessible, and they got all of these new rules.
So much of this study is about telling us that we don't need reparations.
They got the media lying to you, telling you all kind of misinformation.
That we don't need
Miseducation. False
when we
information.
look around, our families leave no inheritance often. That our families have money flowing up, not down. Marriage is a reflection of stability. You don't create it. I keep telling you all that. And so
if the marriage is based on economics, then ain't no marriage. That's what he's saying. That shit is obsolete.
Them saying the military can fix it, of course, during the boomers era. Of course. Not so, like, what do you think about this propaganda around this piece? And you can speak to anything.
You need a nest before you can have an egg.
Hey, listen, I'm glad you responded to this in the timely manner that you did. Because when I read that, the first thing I thought was like, this is to counteract Tone's report. Somebody had got a hold of your report, the powers that be, and say, you know what, this is too much troops given to black people. We need to counteract that. That was the first thing that went to my mind when I read that. And I'm glad you responded in the time manner that you did to counter their counterpoint, to let us know the truth. Because when this starts, I mean, it's going to hit the intelligent folks in the black community, but it's going to start spreading downward. And when folks start getting this throughout the black community, they are going to really demand some stuff to be happening for real. And some powerful people in this country have decided we need to stop that before it happens. So that's why they put that report out.
Thank you so much for calling, caller. I always appreciate when people think of me. You know,
All right, thanks a lot, brother.
I appreciate that, man. Cause that's what, you know, I don't get paid to do this. It's free. I work today. So when I come to you, essentially, you know, I don't get paid to do this show. I come here to do this because I believe Black America needs a message. I don't believe I'm anointed, though. Yvette, I said I don't believe I'm anointed. I ain't gonna say nothing. I come here to spread a message because there's a gap happening. There's Sandy Darity, the Federal Reserve, the Census Bureau, and all that information they've been putting out. And then there's you, a person that didn't know any of it. Now you know it. It's about to spread like a wildfire. Remember when hip hop hit? When hip hop hit? Before it was like, there was little no, I don't even know who the Eazy-E is. And all of a sudden it was like mega stardom. It's finna go like that. I'm just telling y'all like right now, because I already know. So let's just get our group together so we love each other and hold on together, because it's about to be a ride. I don't know where it's going, but it's about to be a ride, because somebody got to say it. I look over, and the last thing I'm going to bring up, I'm going to let Yvette chime in first, and I'm going to finish out, is LeBron James and his move to L.A., Los Angeles. You know, he with the Lakers now.
Decadent veil.
A measure of black males being successful, because that's the whole thing. Success. I've talked about the
vanity veil.
And I brought that out.
Vanity.
There's a black celebrity covering black poverty. But that's kind of the framework for white America. You know, I showed y'all before.
It's selling it.
That white folks don't
It's
even
hot.
black folks. Many white folks all through the
Flying
world,
off the
over
shelves.
the heartland,
Vanity.
don't know black people in their life. So they know LeBron James.
Dreams merchant.
But you got whole swaths of LA, unemployed black males, homeless down on Skid Row. We 60% of the homeless, 2% of the
I mean,
city.
the American dream still for
So I
sale.
come back to it, and is LeBron's success even matter, Yvette? Is that the black
Only
man?
dreams come to dreamers. I mean,
I think it matters in a negative.
however that go.
Like I think it matters in a negative way because we talk about it and we see a black man with money. So you so busy feeling LeBron's pockets, you don't feel
Nothing
how
comes
he's
to a
doing
dreamer
wrong.
but a dream.
So you don't live in your own life. Like you live through this projection of our own aspirations. Like in the future, I don't know if as a group we ever live like in the present moment and just take into account what we don't have and what we're missing, and then try to assess exactly why am I missing it. I don't think we do that at all. And so he is important. LeBron James is important, but in a very negative way in terms of like we shouldn't even halfway know, honestly, like how much he got.
How in the hell do sports help any community? Nigga, that's just a sport. I'm not saying that ain't a job. I'm not saying that they can't have a job, but that ain't no job. That's a sport. And everybody can't make it in that sport. So how the hell is that an economy? How the hell is that a culture? Nigga, that's just a sport. So how in the hell is people putting all their confidence in a sport? I mean, how is that they president? Or how is that they leader? I don't understand that.
Like
Nigga, you ain't got a pot to piss in and you up there talking about, oh, LeBron got 7 million.
You don't
What?
hear them talking about all the soccer players and how much they got
Please.
paid.
Baseball, I mean, they do a little bit on baseball, but not like this. Even like the darker skinned Costa Ricans or whatever, they don't even cover
He
it.
got 8 million, but every college in America is scamming people for out student loan money, and when they graduate, they don't get a job, and they got to go get a regular little job. They can't get a job with what they studied, what they paid all that money for. Now they got only job they can get is a job to pay back all that money because they can't get a job. Now how the hell is that relevant to sports?
Yeah. Like, this is the weirdest thing ever, the way that they do this, because it feels like propaganda, just like this article. I don't know if y'all understand that. I don't think these people play basketball. I think they play cover-up. And so, like, the whole thing is built around telling us how much they make, so that we can have black people that make money, too. But we all got all these broken black men in our families, all these broken black men with no wealth. Whether they've come out of prison or come out of college, ain't got no wealth. Ain't got no prospects. The only thing that changes this is government. My solution is to stop telling me that a white man's government somebody else's government, understand it's your government, that your family built this government, that there's a caste system forming, and we got to break down the boundaries between the castes because we are at the bottom. And if you don't understand that today, you're going to feel it tomorrow. I'm going to let Yvette get the last word. I appreciate everybody tuning in. The CNN article don't make no sense. In actuality, no CNN. Black men are not successful economically in America. Yvette, you want to say the last word just to tell them where they can find you?
I just, you know, it's the same thing, and I think these, you know, we've talked about this for a while, and I appreciate the people who were tweeting it and doing the stuff, you know, we talked about. But one of the things that you and I have talked about is that people got to stop, like, you know, people got to stop, like, being like everybody got a point of view. Not the data isn't the point of view. The data is the truth, and you got to stand with that truth. You just can't be like, well, I'm kind of pissed off, and then go on. If you meet ask something out somewhere, I'm not saying do anything, but I'm just saying like, oh, I'm so grateful to meet you.
Taking
it's
pictures.
so wonderful. Or somebody on Twitter, or somebody on Twitter, you don't want to, they'll tweet something, and you'll just look at it, and you won't say nothing. You scared on Twitter? You can't pop off on Twitter. If you can't do nothing on Twitter where there's pro anonymity, what can you do anywhere? Like Twitter should be your training ground.
If they tell them where they can find you, because I know everybody done heard you.
Thank you, Tom.
Monday, Wednesday, you.
Big love.
Breaking
On the rebound.
Also at Breaking
Carmen's
Down.
Kitchen. There we go under fair use and educational purposes. We dealing. This video review is based on the origins of convict leasing in America. Origins of convict leasing in America. Carmen's Kitchen.
So the Fort Bend ISD, which is a school district not too far outside of the Houston area,